Greetings, Eric Bakker. Thanks for coming back. It's 2019, new year, new start. We've got a few questions today, as per usual. Always got lots of questions from different people out there. Let's kick off the new year with a common question I get asked, which I may have already replied to, and it is, how do I prepare for a Candida cleanse? That's a great question. Well, let's just try and examine that word Candida cleanse to begin with, because it may not be a Candida cleanse. It may be a parasite cleanse. It may be a SIBO cleanse. It may be some type of a bacterial problem cleanse you've got. You may have some type of bug in there, but is it Candida? That's what you've got to ask yourself the question. Because last year, I did many videos trying to explain to people that over half the patients I see who really believe they have Candida, in fact, have got no yeast problem whatsoever. They've got something entirely different, yet they swear it's Candida. In today's age, it's different from when I had a yeast infection, like back in the 80s, because there was no Google. Now it's easy to go online, look at pictures, listen to stories, look at YouTube, and to work out fact from fiction. So how are you going to prepare for this cleanse? Well, assuming it is Candida, assuming you've done some testing, and you've worked out it's a Candida problem, there is a bit of preparation involved when it comes to eradicating Candida from the body. As I always say, get the facts first. Make sure that you know you've got Candida before you start taking an antifungal, because an antimicrobial may suit you a lot better, something that contains many components that can work on bacterial parasites as well as yeast. If you're limiting yourself to a supplement, for example, like SF722 from Thorne Research, which is undersanoic acid, it will have a great effect on the yeast, but it will do little to nothing at all for any parasite or bacteria you've got in your gut. So if you want targeted therapy, make sure you know you've got Candida before you start, right? Preparation for a cleanse really is mental, emotional, and physical. Mentally, you need to resign yourself to the fact that you're finally going to do something about a health problem you've had for a long time. You want to take the bull by the horns. You want to get this thing nailed finally once and for all. So mentally, I'd like you to develop a lot of resolve. Okay? Resolve meaning you're going to say to yourself, I'm finally going to get rid of this darn thing. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm going to do it. So you have to be prepared to make some sacrifices, meaning you may have a holiday coming up which you're not going to go on, or you know what I mean? There may be some events coming up which you may need to postpone or push aside because of the cleanse. So some people call it delayed gratification, whatever you call it. But if you want to get better, you've got to mentally prepare yourself to put time aside to do this thing properly. There's a ton of information on this channel now for you to follow on how to do a proper Candida cleanse in terms of diet, lifestyle, and supplementation. So mentally, you need to be well prepared for this. The better prepared you are, the more likely you're going to have great success in your quest to clean up your act, right? So that's mentally, but what about emotionally? What about the fact that you may wake up, some days feeling pretty crappy, headache, or just not well, tired, miserable, poor sleeping patterns, relating poorly to people, don't feel like eating or feel like eating too much. You're going to go through a roller coaster of different things, all right? Different emotions. And that could last a week, it could last a month. But generally, if you've got a severe case of Candida, it usually lasts anywhere between 1 week up to about 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks of emotionally having all this up and down business. So be prepared for that, right? So that can happen. So the better the preparation, the more likely you're going to have great success. So we've talked in previous videos about pantry preparation, throwing out junk that you don't want to have in your fridge or refrigerator or pantry. By doing that first, you're going to eliminate a lot of temptation. And it's also good. It's a bit of a spring clean. Clean up the kitchen, get yourself together. So you can prepare yourself that way as well. Time is a factor that many people don't think of when it comes to preparation. Things always tend to take longer than you anticipate, all right? So if you've got a problem with Candida, a perceived Candida problem, and you think it could be 2 or 3 weeks or months to clear this, it could take 6 months or 1 year. So allow yourself a lot of slack and make sure that you understand that things generally take longer than you realize, okay? So we talked about the mental preparation, we talked about some psychological preparation, There's time, preparation. If you understand some of these basic concepts very well, you'll have not a problem in going into a Candida cleanse and coming out the other end feeling really good. But if you go in half-cocked, meaning if you've got unrealistic expectations, if you expect to get well in a week by taking a pill, it's not going to happen. You're going to get disappointed. All right? So you've got to be careful, because emotionally it's easy to go down when unmet expectations occur. If you don't get what you want and your perceived outcome, your outcome is different from what you thought it would be, this could be pretty bad for you. So think about that carefully. You can get a great result, but the prep needs to be good. The food prep, the mental prep. When you do all that, and especially if you've got some support at home, you'll have no problem at all in doing this. Thanks for tuning in.